And here are the 5 important steps that you will completely agree with me that President Uhuru Kenyatta used to throw out Raila Odinga. Number 1, the yangu kumi yako kumi philosophy. This is an agreement that President Uhuru entered with his deputy William Samoei Ruto. President Uhuru actually made it public that after the end of my 10 years of rule, it will be time for my deputy William Samoei Ruto. It was not President William Ruto's request that Uhuru should make him president. And therefore, it was only known to President Uhuru why he made that promise. Mark that as we go on to the next points. Number 2, the Tangatanga versus Kieleweke politics. Now, anybody who loves politics and who follows politics understands that the Tangatanga and Kieleweke politics was not by a mistake. For heaven's sake and for good reason, there is never a surprise in politics. One of the political analysts, one Lee McQueenie, says that there is no surprise in politics. Everything is well cooked and well defined, and the result is known by those who are cooking. So, the Tangatanga versus Kieleweke politics was a tactical move to finish and to sacrifice the Jubilee Party so that it could, by the end of it all, benefit the then Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto. By the end of President Uhuru's rule, by the end of the 10 years, there was a plan to make sure that President William Ruto was not associated with the failures of Jubilee. And that is exactly what happened. However, to the detriment of Raila Odinga, they thought that Raila Odinga has come to Jubilee, he has divided the party, and therefore he will rule. He actually thought that that was one of the best tactics used in the army of dividing and rule. However, he forgot that he, Raila Odinga, was not the one who divided. It is President Uhuru who publicly declared the emergency of Tangatanga when he told people that the work of William Ruto was to Tangatanga in the villages, take views and take problems, bring them to the government for solutions. But when was President Ruto to bring the reports of what he found in Tangatanga? It was not during President Uhuru's reign. It was actually in a move to create the manifesto for the Ruto government. That Raila Odinga did not see. Then from there, we came to the handshake number 3. Now, the handshake was even to the detriment of Raila Odinga more than it was a problem to William Ruto. The handshake was to stamp the step number 2 that I have said, the creation of Tangatanga. I told you it was important for President Ruto not to be associated with the failures of Jubilee. And therefore, the handshake brought Raila Odinga as the de facto deputy president in the Jubilee government. So anything that was done by the Jubilee administration in the second term, and which was the first to remember when you mention President Uhuru's rule, anything that happened was well associated with Raila Odinga. And that is why William Ruto could not be associated with it, because everything that he was doing was either given to Raila Odinga or to Fred Matiang'i, who was a technocrat and who is not in the country now. He's back to where he was before the drafting of the end of Odingaism. As a matter of fact, it came to eat Raila Odinga in the end that Raila Odinga was a creation of the government. Now, there is nowhere in the world when a government project in matters campaigned work. Not in the by-election and not in any election. It did not work in America for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and it would not work in Kenya. And that was one of the major reasons why Raila Odinga had to be brought in the government, so that as the government project he could fail, and now the initial project, the de facto project, William Ruto, could pass. Number 4 was more relying on number 3 and number 2. the BBI disguise. After President Uhuru Kenyatta welcomed Raila Odinga into the government and made him part of the government, he gave him a task to identify what has been his problems, why he refused the results of the election, why he was causing so much troubles in the government, and bring them to book. And that book was the BBI. Now, the BBI was made not by mistake, not by a coincidence, but by a well-strategic move to hold or now the BBI was made to be a confusion and not a solution to any problem. First of all, President Uhuru made sure that it was illegal. That was not by mistake, because the lawyer to President Uhuru and to the president is the Attorney General himself. The Attorney General is the best lawyer you can have in Kenya. So clearly, he knew what they were doing, and when they were going against the law, he could advise, but he never did. So BBI failed. In fact, the last show we saw in Bomas, President William Ruto came clean, and he came, in fact, as the man of that event, because he could attack the BBI brigade, attack Raila Odinga, attack President Uhuru Kenyatta, and most importantly, attack the content of that BBI before it even went down. So you see, the BBI was just something to keep Raila busy doing something else, while William Ruto was looking for votes and Uhuru Kenyatta was busy working. So that was point number 4 on how Raila Odinga was confused. Lastly, and number 5, the last step was election results. Now you understand, all the 4 previous points were all geared towards making William Ruto the number 1 winner of the 2022 general election. Now, by numbers, with a free and fair election, William Ruto won because the results were most transparent and most understandable. So the next step after William Ruto winning was a step to make Raila Odinga accept the will of the people and accept the results of the election for the first time. So President Uhuru Kenyatta acted as the chairman of Azimio. Then he had a project called Martha Karua as the deputy president. Now, the role of Martha was to pretend that as a lawyer, he knows how things happen as a lawyer. So once they go to court, Raila Odinga could put all his trust on these senior counsels, Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka, and not to focus so much on collecting evidence that could overturn the election. Remember, President Uhuru wanted to leave a legacy of a peaceful transition, and that transition must have started with Raila Odinga accepting the results. So that was the final end and the dead end of Raila Odinga. President William Ruto is ruling. He was made the president. He won the seat fairly and squarely, and he is now ruling without any problem. Raila Odinga has nowhere to go. It's time to listen and be ruled. Now, I hope you understand all those. If you watched until the end, then please consider going to YouTube, search for Kim Explains. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment to this video. Thank you and have a nice time.